Well, I'm at the Acre campground at Algonquin Park. I'm going to hike the Eastern Pines Trail, but the parking lot's empty. Strange, seeing as it was almost fully booked, so we'll see. This is my 5th time hiking this trail, and it can be used as a long day hike or do an overnight as many nights as you like. I'm just out for one night. I needed to get out, so I'm pretty excited. I've been able to still catch some of the fall colors. Well, my pack is, I guess, about average weight. I think I didn't weigh it. I think my pack's probably 18 pounds all in right now. But just for an overnight, there's not a lot of food or anything. But because temperatures are going to be going to just above freezing, so about 2 degrees Celsius tonight, I have my fall down quilt, which is over 2 pounds, just to make sure that I don't get cold. And I have an extra foam for underneath my air mattress instead of my Z-seat, because I just patched my air mattress, but I can't guarantee that it's going to hold or that there's no other holes. So at least this will bump the R value and can help keep me warm if my air mattress deflates in the middle of the night. He said there's not a lot of kilometers on this trail. Today will be around 10, but it's a beautiful trail that changes a lot. The forest changes. Well, I'm at the lookout listed on the map. It is a great little break spot just before you hit the first sights for Stratton Lake. But don't get your hopes up for it being a lookout. It's very overgrown. Apparently you were supposed to be able to see Johnson Lake and Grand Lake. But that must have been when things were clear cut, because now this is your view. It's still a beautiful spot though. So I figure it's a great chance to stop and have lunch. I started around lunchtime, so it's been maybe an hour for me to get here. I've been meandering a little bit. Jalapeno tortilla, peanut butter, cheese, and pepperoni. So this is, I think, the 5th time I've done this trail. I have done it solo. I took my son when he was 12 on his first backpacking trip here. We took it slow and did quite a few nights. And I've done a couple of beer packing trips with girlfriends that were a riot. It was definitely not lightweight. Carrying an 18 of beer in your pack is not ultra light, but it was fun. Well, they're calling for it to be, I think, around 10 degrees today, and the same for tomorrow, going down to about 2 degrees overnight. But when the sun was out earlier, it felt a lot warmer. Now the sun has gone behind some clouds, and the wind's picked up a little bit. That's fall for you. It's really hard to dress. It's layers on and off, but I do have some extra layers for the night. So I've got my merino hoodie on right now. I also have my down puffy because it will get cool. It's only 30% chance of rain and overcast. I hope it doesn't rain. All I brought was my raincoat. I didn't bother with the kilt or my umbrella. But worst case scenario, it's only for a night. But fall hiking is just beautiful. It's the first side trail to Stratton Lake sites. We're going to keep going and head towards High Falls. So, the Eastern Pines Trail is a nice long day hike, or it makes for the perfect quick overnight. If you're just looking to get out, like I was, kind of chomping at the bit, it's a nice, quick, easy, low impact trail. It's rated, I think, as moderate because of the distance. I actually really like to use this trail to bring people that are new to backpacking out. So some of my friends, my son, as I mentioned earlier, I've used this as a starter trail. It's low impact. You can book sites super close together. Keep your mileage really low. And at High Falls, there's a cheater trail. So the trail's a loop, and High Falls is at the, I guess, northernmost point of the loop. But there's a cheater trail that goes out to the main access road. I believe it's like a 45-minute walk. So you can park in the parking lot there and walk to High Falls. So my mindset has always been with somebody who's new, in case somebody gets injured or maybe their gear isn't very good. This trail has been a good first trail because in the event getting to High Falls, you know what, they're injured, they don't feel well, their gear is failing, we can walk out to the main access road and just try and hitch a ride back to our car. So I started vlogging some of my backpacking trips probably within the last 2 years. I had done a little bit, with my phone and photos and done the little videos to share with friends and family. But I really started vlogging my trips so I can look back one day and have like a video journal of some of the cool things that I've done. And I wish I would have started years ago. Thought it might be cool to look back when I'm older, for my grandchildren maybe one day to look at, who knows. But also too, it's to share a love of backpacking and maybe to help fill in gaps on trails that you're trying to look into and research. Maybe it's you're a new backpacker and you're looking for some tips or kind of what to expect. I'm really big on trying to help young backpackers, new backpackers, especially women, gain some confidence and some skills. But most of all, I do it for fun because I love it. And I want to be able to look back eventually. So if you find any value in my videos, if you find them entertaining, find them informative, or just ridiculous, please subscribe, like, and hit that notifications Thanks, people. I'm at Stratton 8 at near High Falls. So the last time I was here, this was more brush inside, but lots of divots and holes. But they have since cleared this area to make a little site. I'm gonna get my tent set up and drop most of my gear and maybe take a little hike over to High Falls to see the waterfall and watch the water for a little bit. On a bit of a slope, but there's no help for that. Well, originally I had the Highland Trail booked for 2 nights. I was supposed to leave yesterday, so stay last night, stay tonight, and go home tomorrow. But with my dog passing away the night before I was supposed to leave, I canceled my trip. So I was able to book a night just to get out. So I only have a night's worth of food and my regular gear. One thing I forgot to lighten my load on was I have some Southern Comfort and I have some Irish Cream, but I have enough for 2 days. I may have to lighten my load. I'm at High Falls again. Isn't it beautiful? And we'll follow it back up there to the trail again. That's the High Falls water slide there. I went down that once. That was enough for me. This is my world. Well, the sun's just about to come up. I've been up for a little while. I am about to make some coffee. Last night at about 7:30, there was a series of campers that came in. Site 9 right next to mine, Site 8. You can see each other's sites. They're very, very close together. And the thunderbox for Site 8 is very exposed. A little while after that, I guess probably closer to 8, I could hear a couple walking and talking, flashlights going back and forth, and I could hear a woman's voice saying they're in our site, they took our site, and they kept coming closer to where I was camped. And I got out, and it turns out they didn't read the reservation properly. They were booked for Johnson Lake, close to the trailhead, for last night, and they were booked for Stratton 8, the site that I was just camped at, for today. So they hiked around the 10 kilometers around the Eastern Pines Trail and got there after dark, and so I let them stay at my site. She was in tears, but you know, this could happen to any of us, so if somebody's in need, let them stay at your site. But also too, double check the map, double check your reservation, that you actually know where you're going. As it was a small site, so I had to be very quiet, or I tried to be, so I wasn't a jerk. And I left later than planned, even though I've been up since 5. So I don't brush my teeth directly at camp. I make sure to go at least 200 feet from my camp. But generally I just brush my teeth right on the trail. That way you can disperse so it doesn't attract animals to camp. Some people don't use toothpaste. Some people use toothpaste or tablets like I do. But if you're using any kind of product, you need to disperse of it properly, and it needs to be away from your camp. So either you spit or you swallow. What do I use? I use a toothpaste tablet, a little travel toothbrush, and put them in my mouth, chew them up. Water bottle. This place is always so magical. It's a boulder field. Ferns growing out like a chia pet. Tall pines. Not sure if I caught that. There was an otter. Well, I'm glad that I brought this closed cell foam pad. My Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite had another hole on my last trip, and I was able to patch it, and I brought it out again, but I brought the foam just as a backup and for a little bit more R value. My pad was only half deflated this morning, but it's got another leak somewhere and I can't find it. So I think towards the spring, I'm gonna have to pull the trigger and get myself a new sleeping pad. So the Eastern Pines Trail is approximately 20 kilometers. It also depends on if you do the Berm Lake loop or not near the trailhead. I'm not today. I've done the Berm Lake loop. It's nice, but it's gonna be really mucky. Thanks for joining me on this trip. Well, just getting back to my truck.